When was the first time you found out you were undocumented?
Well, I lived my life. I lived my whole life knowing that I was undocumented. One, because we were moving, and we didn't have a stable household, and we couldn't buy a house because of our undocumented status and the lack of our social security. But I also knew when we went to San Diego to visit my family, we had to go through this checkpoint to see. Some people were obligated to go through the checkpoint and see if they were documented or not. And so my parents would tell me, speak perfect English and be confident about it, because people will question our immigration status if we aren't confident enough. And if you can speak for us, then we're okay. So, but it didn't really hit to me until I was a freshman in high school and I was given the opportunity to join Upper Bound. And I went to ask my mother if I had a social security, because those were one of the biggest things that you had to have. And she told me that I didn't have a social security, and I asked her how in the world I was still in school if I didn't have a social security. And she told me that when she enrolled me in school, they didn't need to have any information, they just needed to know my name. And that's basically it. So when I found out that I couldn't go into this program that helped students go into higher education, that's when it hit me that that was the first obstacle that I was gonna encounter. So imagine this little program that didn't let me go in because of my undocumented status. Imagine my next 4 years. I came here when I was 1 year old in 2001, right before 9/11.
The executive order gets rescinded. One good thing
You'll rescind that one too?
One good thing
You'll
about
rescind the Dream Act executive order,
have to.
the DACA.
We have to make a whole new set of standards. And when people come in, they have
So
to
you're
come
going to
in.
split up families.
Chuck,
You're going to deport children.
Chuck, no. We're going to keep the families together. We have to keep the families together.
But you're going to keep
But
them
they have
together
to
out?
go. But they have to go.
What if they have no place to go?
We will work with them. They have to go.
I know this is real, and I know that it's going to directly affect me, or directly affect my family, and directly affect my community. Just knowing that so many people are scared more than ever because nobody knows what Trump is going to do, I really want to fight more than I have ever fought.
This means that Donald Trump will be the 45th President of the United States.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody.
It is shocking because I thought that Hillary Clinton had it in the bag, and when I had gone to sleep and when I woke up, I realized that Trump had won, and I was shocked. I didn't know. I didn't see my parents that day. They had to go to work at 5 o'clock in the morning like they usually do, and I had to wake up at 6 to take my siblings to their babysitter. And when I saw it and I woke up, I started crying because I didn't have anybody to hug me. I didn't have my parents. I didn't know what my parents were feeling. My parents were working in the fields, and my dad was working in the construction site, and I didn't know how they felt. I didn't know if they were scared. I didn't know when they found out that he had won. As an undocumented person living in the United States for so long, or if you've been living here for a short amount of time, I think it's the only thing that you have right now. And if you receive a higher education, then I tell them, like, knowledge is power. Nobody is going to take knowledge away from you. Nobody is going to tell you that you don't know your history, because you're living through it and you know who you are. So receive your education, because people take you seriously when you have a title. Although it's hard to say, but people will recognize you only until you have an education. People will criticize you if you don't speak fluent English. People will criticize you if you don't dress well. So do it. Because since presidency, I've heard a lot of immigration jokes that are horrible to say, and only because Trump is going to be president, people feel like it's okay to say these things. And I have to check them and check myself, and I'll always be questioning it. Why we believe in such things, and why do we think that when somebody at such a high power when he says these type of things, it's okay for all of us to say it. But I think more than now and ever, a lot of people, like I used to be in a writing class, and they told me that, and I completely agree with this. It's time for me and people like us to publish our stories, to be able to tell them our stories, because I hate this excuse, but people sometimes say that they didn't know. So if we give them that material to tell them, this is what I'm facing as an undocumented student, this is what I'm facing every day living in the shoes of an undocumented status, then it gives them no right for them to say that they didn't know.
To use ignorance
Yeah.
as their
As their excuse. So for me to tell my story, I think it's the biggest thing I have to offer. Telling them that I have lived 15 years in this country, and knowing that the only thing that I have right now, my deferred action for childhood arrival, is taken from me. And I have a 4.7 GPA. I'm an AP student. I speak English, and I'm an indigenous student. I think telling them that, for me, would be the only thing I can offer. And if you decide not to get anything from it, then I did my part. I can't do anything more.
Chuck, no, we're going to keep the families together. We have to keep the families together.
But you're going to keep
But
them
they have
together
to
out?
go. But they have to go.
What if they have no place to go?
We will work with them. They have to go.